Hi everyone, welcome to This is Cinema. I have watched Deadpool and Wolverine, not just once, but twice, because it was that awesome, and there's no words to describe it. But it also has its own flaws and confusions, and this video is about discussing those confusions arose from this movie, and there's going to be a lot of spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's better to skip the video. And now let's dive right in. Starting off with the earlier scene, when Deadpool traveled to Sacred Timeline aka Universe 616, using Cable's time travel watch. That really doesn't make sense, because it's just a time travel watch, and the user could only go back or forward in time to their specific universe, and that's what we have seen anywhere when the time travel concept involves. But here Wade came to 616 Universe on March 14, 2018, which was before the events of Infinity War, the time when Avengers remained separated. In the timeline book, the events of Infinity War was mentioned to happen during the spring of 2018, which means March, April, and May months, and the world doesn't seem to be like having chaos in Infinity War, so he should have met Hogan before that time. But we can give one explanation for this, because at the Deadpool 2 used Cable's time travel watch to travel to a different universe, to kill Ryan Reynolds when he chose the script of Green Lantern. So it's kinda possible to travel to different universes using Cable's time travel watch. Next will be the Sacred Timeline. At the end of Loki Season 2, Loki broke the loom and let the multiverse to grow as a tree. So there shouldn't be any Sacred Timeline, but still Paradox refers 616 as Sacred Timeline, and says the higher authority needs Deadpool to save the Sacred Timeline in future. It's still confusing that, whether the Sacred Timeline consists of multiple timelines of single universe, or multiple universes, but when they say Sacred Timeline, they just refers 616. And also the term Sacred Timeline is still in use at the TVA. Next will be, is Blade, Gambit, and Elektra from same universe or different universes? Because I'm sure X-23 is from Deadpool's universe, and she was a kid during 2029 Logan's events, and after few years, like 2035 or 2036, TVA should have pruned her. But the other cameos we have seen doesn't seem to come from Deadpool's universe, because Blade movie doesn't belongs to Fox, and Channing Tatum's Gambit movie was in early talks but cancelled. So not sure about that, and at the end of the movie, in Deadpool's home, only X-23 was sitting besides Wolverine. Other three were not found there. So they might have returned to their own universe, and I think that's probably the logical explanation for this. Next is the presence of two Logans and two X-23s at present in Deadpool's universe. At the end of the movie, now this version of Wolverine replaced the actual anchor being of Deadpool universe and became a new anchor being, and that's how the movie ended. And Hunter B15 said, the timeline is now growing back, like before. But the main confusion here is, all these were happening during 2024 in Deadpool's universe. Logan died in 2029, so that this Logan is still alive in that universe, serving as an anchor point. Now placing this new version makes the presence of two Wolverines in a same timeline, which doesn't make sense. They didn't even thought about this logic mistake, and same for X-23. She's also still out there alive as a kid of 4 or 5 years of age, and now the older version of same X-23 is present at the same timeline. It's so confusing, they didn't even address about it, just crossed away. Hunter B15 first says, this Wolverine shouldn't be in this timeline. Then after looking that the timeline is growing back, she allowed him to stay there. It looks like a lazy writing. The writers of all these multiversal stuff need to discuss among themselves for the continuity, the one thing that Marvel was well known for in Infinity Saga. And again, the runtime is still the problem for this movie, they just rushed up some things, and doesn't provide depth to some aspects. And the cameos part, what we have got was so cool to be honest. But I have expected cameos from the X-Men team, because many people doesn't know about Elektra and Channing Tatum's Gambit. Wesley Snipes returning as Blade, Henry Cavill's Wolverine, then the brief cameo of Hulk versus Wolverine, especially Chris Evans as Human Torch. All these cameos were top-notch. But instead of Elektra and Gambit, they could have brought back Storm, Cyclops, or even Jean Grey. That could have made Wolverine to be even more connected for their fight. So these are all some of the flaws and confusions in Deadpool and Wolverine. But apart from that, it's a very good, enjoyable, fun-watching, best theater experience-giving movie. And if we compare it with No Way Home, Deadpool and Wolverine is a little bit down, according to my opinion. If I give 10 of 10 for No Way Home, then I would give 8 of 10 for Deadpool and Wolverine. And we are not sure how it's gonna affect the future of Marvel, like 5G said. This movie doesn't give any tease about future projects, and the post-credit scene was also a little fun gag, and doesn't set up for any upcoming movies. I expected a different set of storyline for this movie, because the earlier leaked plot synopsis said they would be crash-landing our sacred timeline, and will go to some of iconic moments to make some changes there in our rated style. But the movie we got was completely different. They have just shown 616 for barely 5 minutes, and that too an interview with Happy Hogan. Sure, not the movie I expected, but happy for what we have got. And let's wait for future projects to know how well Deadpool and Wolverine is going to take part a bigger role in Marvel Multiverse. And if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button below, and let's meet in another video. Until then, signing off.
This is cinema.